Could you also share with us some of the examples of projects that the new hires would be working on?
Of course. So I will, project specific to these roles, or do you mean with our partner companies? Sorry, just to clarify.
Both.
Okay, so I'll go back to some slides here. I'll share some of the projects that have been live this month to give you a sense of the work that we do at our partner companies, which is very related to the work that you would do at Via. So one example is there was a Via fellow who had spent 5 years in investment banking and private equity in New York City. He started his MBA and wanted to try something different at a fintech startup, wanted to go back into finance, but not from an advisory capacity, but from something, you know, on the ground and operational. Latin America had always been appealing to him. He had learned Spanish in high school and was fluent in Spanish, but had never lived in Latin America. So through Via, he is now working for 3 months at the fastest growing credit lending fintech company in Mexico City. And he's doing a project identifying new product opportunities to offer the small to medium enterprises in Mexico. So this is one where it is a fast-growing fintech startup, but also with a very heavy social impact, mission-driven component. Another example that I can give you is a person who had done a lot of things in education, had spent one part of her career doing lessons at a high school, was deeply interested in education and came to the MBA thinking how to transition into the ed tech space. After the MBA, did a couple of years in consulting as a way of kind of getting a bigger sense of education from a more consulting perspective, and then transitioned through Via to an education academy in Sao Paulo, where the role is a combination between advisory and thinking about how the education world will work in the future, as well as a lot of curriculum development and things like that she had done beforehand. So a transition that felt very natural, but this was a company that she had never heard about before going to Via. Final example, there's a fellow who had spent her career in impact investing based in New York City. She was passionate about the clean energy space and wanted to experience social impact hands-on, but had never really known how to do that. Her experience in impact investing had always been more, you know, modeling and behind a computer screen. And so through Via, she worked at a solar energy company in Uganda that provides solar energy panels to rural households. In many cases, that is the first light of their home. So deeply impactful, mission-driven experience. And she worked on new pricing models and assessing impact on communities through Via. These are all, you know, sample stories of fellows who have gone on projects through Via. Some of them are short-term projects, some of them are permanent placements, but these are the stories that we come into every day at the office at Via. So if you're interested in applying to Via, our own job postings, these are the stories that you'll be hearing and reacting to every day. So from a marketing perspective, it's, you know, how do I tell these stories? How do I share them on our Instagram? How do I, you know, capture that essence of that content? From a growth perspective, it's, you know, how do I get to grow my base of professionals to share more of these projects with more people? And from a business development perspective, it's how do I follow up with these companies to make sure that everything is going well? How do I get more projects at that same company? But the core of what we do, again, is connecting the world through these stories of one professional who connects with one company in a different place in the world. And from that, everything else comes to life.